the Mets. Meet the Mets. Step right up and greet the Mets. Bring your kiddies, bring your wife. Guaranteed to have the time of your life, because the Mets are really socking the ball, knocking those home runs over the wall. East side, west side, everybody's coming down to meet the METS Mets of New York town. Oh, the butcher and the baker.
What's up, Mets fans? Welcome back to a Mets postgame show. Excuse me. Post-game show right here on Talking Mets at Rob. Unfortunately, Chris can't be with us today for the postgame, but our New York Mets found a way to pull off a game late in a ball game in the ninth inning, dramatic fashion. And the spotlight player of the New York Mets today, Harrison Bader, with 3 RBIs on the day and a 2 RBI double to tie the ball game in the bottom of the ninth. And then no other than Omar Narvaez gets a game-winning hit, and Mets win 4-3 in the bottom of the ninth in dramatic fashion. Gets their record to 22-30 and salvage the series against the San Francisco Giants, as the Giants end up 500 once again. So, good news is we didn't get swept. Bad news is, well, the core of this team is nowhere to be found once again, and the supporting cast, congratulations, you won another ball game for the New York Mets. God forbid the Stars do it, but let's keep a little bit of positivity here as I watch the Rangers and provide a post-game show to you guys right now. And it's tied 2-2 in the first. So the big thing here is the Mets pulled out a win, right? There was a lot of games this year. We can go back over the last week where the Mets should have a couple more victories here. Maybe they should be 4 or 5 games over 500. Under 500 instead of 8 games under 500. Or 8 games under 500 instead of, 7, 8, 9 games under 500. So the good news is that they did salvage the series. They get the victory. But it's still concerning that the main guys on this team are not performing at all. That's the issue. It's a good win. Listen, we need all the wins we can take. If Omar Narvaez needs to hit a couple of game-winning hits, please do so. And look, it's understandable that a lot of Mets, not even 10 minutes before the ninth inning started, look at the beginning comments. Can they release Hauser? God, these Mets suck hard. Trade just about everybody. And that's the comments in the beginning, right? I don't have to say who it is. The fact is, that was the morale, or that was the faith or the non-belief in this team, right? The embarrassment of this team. So the fact of the matter is, I don't believe the Mets are as bad as they're playing. And the reason why I keep saying that is because more than half of the wins that the Mets have this year, which is 22, have been because of the supporting cast. Just imagine if 2 out of the 4 were performing to the back of their baseball cards in Nimmo, Alonso, Lindor, or McNeil. 2 out of 4. You don't even need 3 of them. 2 out of the 4 performing to the back of their baseball cards with the supporting cast the way they have been playing, because they have been carrying this team on their shoulders all fucking season long. And we keep saying that on the round table, on the new Mets Talk Live show that is weekly. Most days it will be on Friday, but we'll keep you posted on that. We'll have a special guest every single week for Mets Talk Live, the weekly news show on the channel. right? We talk about it on pre and post with CP and myself, right? All the shows that we hear, no matter where you are watching Mets content creators, we continue to talk about why is the team so bad? Why is it, right? We know Diaz blew a couple of games. We understand that, right? But that's 2 games. 2. What about the other 7 or 8 that the Mets should have won, or at least should have been in a situation to win a ball game, but because of the main guys on this team that are not doing the job, and let's be honest, right? Brandon Nimmo, since he got moved to the number 3 spot, which is a big RBI spot, yeah, he has the RBIs, but he strikes out way too often. And the problem with Brandon Nimmo, even though it's hard to kill Nimmo, it's hard to kill him. But because Nimmo is not really that type of leadoff hitter that the Mets seen from him in 2022, he's not really playing like a leadoff hitter anymore. He is trying to drive the ball more, but his strikeouts are way up. And I want to give a shout out to Hector, who is part of the Roundtable podcast, who brought up a good stat with Brandon Nimmo, right? Out of his 25 at bats, he has 15 strikeouts, and that's since going to the 3 spot in the lineup. That's a problem because Lindor is not really making that jump that I guess the Mets were thinking leadoff spot would do. And Alonso in the 2-hole hasn't been that good either. So, we're moving over these guys, and the outcome and it is not really, the results aren't really what they expected from moving these guys around. I don't care if you bat Lindor 9th, Pete Alonso 7th, Nimmo 8th. I don't care. The fact of the matter is they're not doing the job in any spot you put them in the lineup, right? Harrison Bader, 3 RBIs. Omar Narvaez shows a pulse at home and gets the game-winning RBI, right? I mean, if you look at it here, right, I'm just going to go across the line of the box score, right? I usually have it up, but I was doing some things before, so I just had to go quickly with what I got up here. But I'm just going to go on it really quickly, right? Where would we be without Nimmo? Not much better, I tell you that much. Because we're not. We're 8 games over 500, under 500. Yeah, I see, but I don't need Pete to be fine. That's the problem, CP. And once we're back doing our shows and stuff again together, it would be great to go to back and forth here. But I'm glad you're in the comments because we don't need. This is the problem. When I hear, Pete Alonso's doing fine. No. He is your player. He is your star guy. He is your main guy. He is your face of your franchise, right? At least a lot of people portray him as that. He can't be fine. That's the issue. Like, I don't want Pete Alonso being fine, right? So he was fine in the cleanup spot, and now he's fine in the 2-hole. So he's not much better than either way you put him, right? He's a butcher throwing the ball, which is a situation that I hope he can figure out because he can catch every ball. He can get to every ball now, which is amazing considering 3-4 years ago when he had issues with that. He can catch the ball. He's got to work on the throwing, but he can't be fine in the lineup. The Mets aren't winning when Pete Alonso's fine. We need him to be better than fine, and I think that's the issue, right? And guys, I talked about Harrison Bader. A lot of people poo-pooed it. A lot of people were like, why would you give him $10 million? Harrison Bader has one of the best clutch numbers in big spots in baseball. That's including postseason. He was the only one that showed up on the Yankees in the postseason. Nobody else did. Big bad Aaron Judge. No, Harrison Bader did the job. Harrison Bader is the guy you want up. No, Harrison Bader is the guy you want up in the big spot. It's just that simple. His numbers might not pop out of nowhere and open up a lot of eyes, but in a big spot, I'm telling you guys, I would rather have Harrison Bader up than any other guy in the Mets lineup right now. Honestly, I don't want Lindor up. I don't want Alonso up. I don't want Nimmo, McNeil. Name your player. I want Harrison Bader as the guy to be in the big spot. because you know what he does? He bears down and gets the fucking job done. Unlike the guys that everybody wants to pay and that already gets the money. In Lindor and Alonso and Nimmo with his contract and McNeil, who is basically useless on his team. He just bears down. Let me just check the comments. No, CP, I agree. In a way, but again, I don't want Pete Alonso to be fine, though. We can't have one of the best players on your team being fine. Because, again, if I expect anything from anybody, it's a guy that I want to be the man. I want Pete Alonso to be the man. I want him to take the entire team, put them on their shoulders and say, I got this. Like Harrison Bader does more often than not. And he only played, 40-something games, 45, 46 games for the Mets this year? I'm sorry. Look, the Mets have 22 wins, and more than half is because of the supporting cast. That's an issue. No, JD Martinez didn't do nothing the other night either. Absolutely. But I would like to see more power from him, but he struck out in the big spot today. He didn't look good. The other night in a big spot, he struck out. JD Martinez is the professional hitter. He will do that. You got to remember, guys, he's only played 20 plus games with the Mets. JD Martinez is going to be fine. Fine in the sense that I know the type of hitter he is. I feel like in a lot of big spots, I think he'll come through more often than not. I can't say that for any of the core guys. Nimmo has been a lot better than any of the core guys, but that's not really saying much. Like, it's not. Like, we're lauding Brandon Nimmo like he's having such a great season. He's not having a great season, guys. Let's calm down about that. Like, honestly, we're not. Like, Brandon Nimmo is batting .217. Let's not act like we put Nimmo in the third spot because he's batting .280 and he has 29 RBIs, which is pretty decent. Or he has more than that, actually, I believe. I think he has 32, if I'm not mistaken. 29. So he has 29 RBIs, which is good. But again, 217 is a guy you're putting in the number 3 spot. Right? Lindor is batting, I think he's batting 200 now. Yeah, hey, he's batting 210. So the problem with that is that you have your 1, 2, and 3 hitter batting 217, 210, and 230. I'm sorry. That's not cutting it. Right? Brandon Nimmo, the last couple of seasons, batting 260, 270. You can't bat 217 and increase your strikeouts more than 50%. I'm sorry, 25%. Excuse me, not 50. 25%, and tell me you're having a good season. I'm sorry. Like, it's ridiculous. Like, Lindor is absolutely terrible and has 24 RBIs, right? Which is bad as well. Like, I need Lindor batting 240 at the very least. I need Pete Alonso to bat at least his career average, which he should be getting there. He got the 230, which is nice. I need him batting 250, 260. And I need Brandon Nimmo to bat 270. Like, I don't want a 45-point lower average and you're getting a ton of more strikeouts and hoping to get major RBIs from Brandon Nimmo. I'm sorry. The Mets are not built that way. If you're counting on Brandon Nimmo to be a big RBI guy, then you're making this team completely backwards. The best part of this team, and the problem is, they're not playing well right now. They're not playing well right now. Look, you got 2 strikeouts from Lindor, 1 strikeout from Alonso, and 2 strikeouts from Nimmo. Nimmo went 1 for 4, Alonso went 0 for 3, and Lindor went 1 for 4. All right? You can't have that on a regular basis. Look at the bottom of the order. Bader, right? 2 for 4, 3 RBIs. Even Bader got a hit. Right? And it seems like from like 6 through 9 have been doing their job. Like, it's absolutely a problem to me. Well, Frank, you can't really hold them accountable because what are you going to do? Bench Francisco Lindor for who? what middle infielder do we have? We don't, right? You want to sit Pete Alonso? Let's put Vientos at first. You want to sit Brandon Nimmo? Put DJ Stewart out there, or put another, or Tyrone Taylor. Like, you can't do that. No, I agree with that. I agree with that. But again, if the Mets are counting more on Brandon Nimmo to get an RBI than Francisco Lindor, that's a problem. It's very simple. Like, the reason why we're talking about Brandon Nimmo being, looking good or better than others because the other ones are not playing well, right? But Brandon Nimmo is not having a really good season. Like, we have to calm down on that. He's been better than the others, the other core guys, but that's not saying much. That just shows you how bad the core has actually been. And again, the Mets would be lucky to have, 15 wins if it wasn't for the supporting cast. Tyrone Taylor early in the season was one of the best hitters on the team earlier in the season, in the first 25 games, right? Harrison Bader has been good basically, except for like the first week of the season. He's been one of the best players on the team offensively, right? DJ Stewart has held his own. Marte has come back to earth a little bit, but Marte is still looking pretty decent, right? Nito has been okay, better than expected, to be honest with you, right? If you look at Jeff McNeil has been coming on a little bit more, which is nice, right? Jeff McNeil got his average up to 238. I think only like 2 weeks ago it was like 215. So that's a good sign, right? But I mean, look at these averages. Nobody in this lineup has over, besides JD Martinez, who has a 276 average, everybody's batting under 260, right? The closest next one is 259 with Marte. Everybody else, Harrison Bader, 279, So there's another one for Harrison Bader, right? You got 220s, 230s, 217, 230, 210. Like, you're not winning ball games like that. Yeah, exactly, Daniel. Like I said, league average is 240. That's fine, but not when your career average, like a Brandon Nimmo, who's around the 260, Pete Alonso, who's a 250 hitter, right? Even Francisco Lindor is around the 240, 250 hitter, right? You can't be batting 40 points or 30 points lower than your career average and tell me you're having a good season. I don't care about the league average, right? Our players' career average, I'm looking at the back of the baseball cards. I can care less about the league average. That just shows that baseball as a whole doesn't care about averages. And then they realize, they wonder why, and fans wonder why teams don't really want to give players big contracts because of the fact that they're not consistent with their average. Like, all we care about now is home runs and OPS, which is downright the most idiotic thing that I can think of. It's like the NBA and 3-pointers. Like, it's horrible to watch a game in the NBA because they chuck up 53s a game and they might make 15% of them. Like, it's just amazing to me. How long have I been a Met fan? Well, I've been a Met fan probably since I can remember, right? I know the only thing I remember, I was a baby. I was like 2. I know my parents took pictures of me with a big blow-up Met ball and Met clothes on. So I don't remember much then, obviously. I mean, I would love to remember when I was born in the late 80s because that was good years. But I don't. I started to remember, the Bernard Gilkey, Butch Husky, those guys. And I was like maybe 6 or 7, those type of guys. But my heyday was the Ray Ordonez, Eduardo Alfonso, Robin Ventura, those guys, the Ullaroods of the world, in late 90s, early 2000s. But again, guys, the fact of the matter is that if the big guys don't pick it up enough, I don't care how good the supporting cast is. It's not going to make that much of a difference. You might get a game like today where Harrison Bader just goes nuts and scores 3 out of the 4 runs or gets 3 out of the 4 RBIs. Yeah, easy. I heard John Lewis interview. Yeah, I would like to take that 325 average. What did he have? 20, 25 home runs and 80 RBIs. I know he's going to put the bat. And again, and this is the thing, guys. Why I'm so disappointed in Pete Alonso. Like, the power is going to be there. He's strong enough to connect on balls that are mistakes and take him out of the yard. But why can't you get a base hit to drive in a run to take the lead or tie a ball game or get a game-winning hit? Right? He had multiple chances this year, along with Lindor and Nimmo and all the other guys as well. But, we put Pete Alonso on this pedestal when he's been part of many losing teams. And with his average dropping dramatically, this is not a 250 to 240. This is 250 to 217. Right now he's at 230. I'd love to see that get up there. Hopefully by the end of June, he can get that up to 240, 245. Like, it's harder with more at-bats to increase your average a lot. But, I mean, he needs a June where he goes absolutely buck wild. Like, June, like, if we end up still having a decent homestand, because there's still a chance the Mets can still go with a decent homestand here. Again, I need a 7-3 or better, and that's kind of looking more and more unlikely because of the two opponents we have up in the Dodgers next and then the Diamondbacks. But, who knows, right? The Mets played well against the Dodgers in LA. So who knows, right? We don't know. Maybe the Mets pick it up, and the Dodgers have been struggling a little bit. I think they're losing again to the Reds today. They might come into New York losing 5 in a row. I mean, that's probably a bad time because they probably would be really pissed off. Ohtani's not going to be playing because he has a contusion of his hamstring. So the Mets are catching the Dodgers at a good time right now. They're not playing well. Ohtani's out. The Mets got to step up and take 2 out of 3 here. Like, I'm sorry. Like, it's do or die time for this team, right? I don't care who's coming in. Find a way to get it done. That's it. It's just that simple. I'm sick and tired of, we'll get him tomorrow. We'll get him tomorrow. Like, I don't want to hear Alonso, Lindor, Nimmo. I don't want to hear none of them say that. Right? Get the job done. This is do or die. This homestand, if you completely fold over like a cheap suit in this homestand, that's it. The season's over before June starts. Before, after Memorial Day, right after Memorial, that's a problem. By the end of this homestand, you're going to be close to 60 games of the season. That's nearly a quarter of a season already. A little over a quarter of a season already. You got to get it going, guys. And I want these averages to go up. Anybody can talk about averages don't matter. I'm sorry. 210, 230, 270, even though 230 is not terrible. But I don't feel like Alonso's been good enough either. He's got his average up, so I like that. He's putting the bat on the ball more, right? I would love for Nimmo to lower those strikeouts a little bit more. So I'm not going to go completely crazy because they have been somewhat better with the lineup change. But again, look at the last handful of games, right? It's been the bottom of the order again that has been getting the most hits in the lineup per game. Like, it's just a problem. Like, let's go, guys. Like, I want the next roundtable with myself, Chris, Hector, and Hayden to be on Wednesday, because it's looking like it's going to be a roundtable on Wednesday, guys. Right after the last game of the Dodgers series, they play at 4:00. We'll be on probably around 8 on Wednesday. So going into that roundtable, I want to have 2 out of 3 against the Dodgers. So that would be a 3-3 homestand at the moment. And then you got 4 against the Diamondbacks. If you can find a way to take 3 out of 4, that's a 7-3 homestand. And now we're a little bit closer to where we need to be because, look, you might think I'm crazy, even though you probably already think I am. All right? As bad as the Mets are, we just beat a team that is now 27-27, who is leading the third wild card because the Padres are 27 and 28. The Diamondbacks are 25 and 27, right? The Mets are still, prior to the homestand, they were 4 games back of a wild card. They're now still 4 games back of a wild card. Now, it doesn't, you could say you're absolutely crazy, but if the Mets take 2 out of 3 against the Dodgers and somehow take 3 out of 4 against the Diamondbacks, I'm pretty sure that you're going to be within 2 games of a wild card spot, being a couple of games under 500. It sounds crazy, but the National League is not very good. That's why there's still hope. Not saying that I believe in this team and, guns blazing, let's go. But it's not that far-fetched that if the Mets have even a 6-4 homestand, they'll probably be within 2 or 3 games of a wild card spot. Like it's crazy to me to think like I like as bad as we've been, 8 games, 9 games under 500, we were still within 4 games of a wild card spot. It's crazy to think, but that's reality, guys. So I agree, Easy. I was just gonna bring that up. I have it in one of my notes about Omar Narvaez. I start him tomorrow. He might be feeling good about himself. He got the game-winning hit when he was like 0 for like 35 at home. Give him the start. He got a big hit today to win the ball game. I start him tomorrow. And you know what? Mendoza doesn't really play guys for matchups. He's been playing the hot hand a little bit more, and I really like that. It shows that he actually manages. And just an FYI for everybody, this is not Mendoza's fault where this team is right now. I think Mendoza, for a first-time manager, has done a good job. I would give him probably a B-. Probably better than I expected. I think he's done a lot of good things. Now, a lot of people think that he should have brought in Diaz in a safe situation. Like, you got to get Diaz back to at least be in a closer. You don't have to be 2022 dominant, but we need him in the 9th inning. It's just that simple. So I don't mind that. Mendoza was like, he had a gut feeling. Put Diaz out there. Let's go. Because putting him in the 5th and 6th inning, I don't think he's going to solve an issue. I think he's got, you put him in the 5th and 6th inning, he has a couple of good starts. Do you feel confident in him in the 9th inning? You have to put him out there, especially with Rayleigh missing and the bullpen kind of scuffling a tad. Put him out there because you're going to need him. Put him out there. Do or die with your best guys. That's the way I see it. Put him out there. Let him figure it out. No, I seen it the other day and yesterday too. Even today on X, people killing Mendoza. Like, why? Like, what have Mendoza now? Has there been a move or two, which you can question a manager's moves every time they don't work out? Like, there's not one player that one manager that hasn't made a bad decision in baseball. It's just that simple. Hector, look, we're 4 games from a wild card spot. I know that's silly to sound, but it just shows you that it's not like the Mets are dead. And the National League, again, the Giants are the 3rd wild card at 27 and 27. Like, there's a pretty good chance that it might be a 500 team making the 3rd wild card spot. That's not far-fetched because last year, the 3rd wild card team was 3 games over 500? The year before that, they were 4 games over 500. Not much better. So, again, that's why this homestand, as I said it, do or die. Because now, because of the wild card situation and how terrible the National League is, and the Mets, as bad as they've been over the last 2 weeks, are still 4 games over 500. They lost 2 games in the standings in 9 days. And they've won, 1-9 in their last 10? Like, that shows you that the National League is not that good. That's why it's important to beat the teams like the Giants and the Diamondbacks, who are in front of you right now. Because if you take 3 out of 4 with the Diamondbacks, they can end up being 26-30, and you are tied with them now, and you jump 4 teams just like that in a matter of 4 days. So, again, guys, big win here. This was an important win to have a little bit of confidence going in the Dodgers series, who I believe they lost, if I'm not mistaken. Did they? Yes. So the Dodgers just lost 5 in a row. They lost Ohtani. They're not playing well. They haven't been scoring runs. Like, if I'm not mistaken, they haven't played well at all. They haven't been scoring runs. They scored 6 2 days ago. They scored 1 the last 2 days. They haven't been scoring runs at all. They got shut out the other night. They haven't scored. They haven't scored at all. They haven't been good at all. This is the situation here where the Mets can take advantage of a struggling Dodgers team, even though they're one of the best teams in baseball. We played them well against the Dodgers in LA. Do it again. Let's go. Do or die here, guys. You got 7 more games in a homestand. Can you take 5 out of the 7? Easy. Me and my dad said that too. We were like, oh boy, it scares me because they're going to be pissed. But you know what, though? Look, that's why game 1 of the series is so important. The Mets got to score early. Put it in their heads that, oh shit, we're down again. Because I don't care how good a team is. When there's doubt in your mind, when it's been happening game after game after game over a week, you start to question, not to question their talent or where they are standing-wise or record-wise, but in that moment, they question what the hell is going on. Go ahead, Hector. Let's go, baby. Do it live tonight. So remember, guys, to end this stream, the Mets got the victory. They're 22-30, 8 games under 500. Only lost 2 games in the standings in a wild card over 9 days. Could have been a lot worse. But it shows you that the National League, from the 3rd wild card team to where the Mets are, you can't even see how much difference there is in these teams. They're not playing well. All these teams, the Giants, the Padres, the Reds, Pittsburgh, they're all inconsistent. They win a couple, they lose a couple. They lose 4 in a row, they win 3 in a row. If you look at them, they're like, a lot of the games, they're 5-5, in 10, 4-6, 3-7. Nobody really has been over 500 over the last couple of weeks. Like, they're not playing well. They're very inconsistent, just like the Mets. I mean, if it wasn't for the Mets being inept, they should have won yesterday too. The Giants handed them errors all over the place and gave him opportunities. It's just that one hit that the Mets need, like they got today. It seems like every day they're in a ball game. Like, it's rare that the Mets lose ball games and there's no contest. They don't have a lot of them blowout games. And even when the other team scores a lot, they score a lot most of the time, and they just lose. So they've been playing a lot of close games. It's taken a well-pitched inning here, a couple of big hits there, and you change the whole game around and the complexion of a game. That's where they need to be. So the New York Mets win 4-3, salvage the series against the Giants. Shomanayo went 5 innings, 5 hits, 2 runs, 1 walk, 6 strikeouts. Again, that's what you expect from these pitchers. Like, in baseball now, it's a quality start. Like, it's amazing now that, 6-7 innings used to be a quality start. Now it's 5 innings of less than 3 runs. So another quality start from your starter. Hauser looked pretty good coming out of the bullpen. He gave up 1 run, but pitched multiple innings, which is going to be his job going forward. So he was fine. Let's see if he gets better in the bullpen. We need him in the bullpen. Let's not make no mistake about it. Raley was a huge loss. Hauser needs to step up. Even though he's a righty, he needs to step up because he's going to be pitching a lot of these 5, 6, 7 inning areas, especially when a pitcher only goes 5 innings. So he's going to get a lot of those 2 innings, 6 and 7 inning, 5th, 6, 7 type innings. So let's hope he can do it. Again, he's failed as a starting pitcher. He pitched better in the bullpen with Milwaukee when they put him in there. So let's hope he does that with the Mets. So with that said, guys, another Mets post-game show in the books. The Mets win 4-3. Next up, as you see on your screen, the Dodgers 4-3. No Ohtani. Dodgers coming in losing 5 in a row, not scoring runs. You got to put them in their place early. You got to score early. Put doubts in their mind. Not that they're not a good team. Not they're one of the best teams in baseball. But it put doubt in their minds at the moment. That's it. Because I can care less what they do after that. Put doubt in their mind in the moment. Harrison Bader, player spotlight of the game for the New York Mets. 3 RBIs today. 2 RBI double in the bottom of the ninth to tie the ball game. And to put the cherry on top, Omar Narvaez gets a hit at home and is a game-winning RBI to win the ball game for the New York Mets at Citi Field on a Sunday, day before Memorial Day. Once again, guys, I appreciate all the support. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and make sure you subscribe to Chris's channel as well. Subscribe to Hector's channel, who might actually do a live tonight, guys. You don't want to miss that. With that said, everybody have a great Memorial Day, Sunday into Monday. Be safe. Drink responsibly. Not if you're a Mets fan, because why? You need to forget about some things. With that said, everybody have a great night. Have a great holiday. Let's go Mets. On to the Dodgers at Citi Field. I'll see you next time, guys. Have a great rest of your holiday weekend. Let's go Mets.
We're gonna make it this time. We're gonna